So let's start with the now with the k nearest neighbor. So we need to learn about the lazy versus eager learning. So lazy learners are those which are instance-based learner, and they do not actually make a model till we start doing the testing. So these are instance-based learning. So they simply store the examples. They do not actually make the model. So only maybe some minor processing is done, and they wait till the final tuple is given. Eager learner that we have discussed till now, all those that we have discussed till now was the eager learners, and they make a model, and so that in future you do the testing immediately. So lazy learning, less time in the training, but more time in the predicting. So which is sometimes not desirable. So this more time in the predicting is not desirable. Accuracy lazy method effectively uses a richer hypothesis space, and they put up all the example in a very rich hypothesis space, and so they use many local linear functions to form its implicit global approximation. Eager must commit to a single hypothesis. So because as we have seen that our hypothesis is once constructed, we have to use it for the entire instance space. But lazy learners, they keep on changing the hypothesis. So whichever gives the best accuracy, that can be reported. So only that is the one reason that someone may go for lazy learner. Otherwise, they take a lot of time in the prediction. So since it is instance-based learning, so we take one example at a time and we delay the processing. So in the k nearest neighbor approach, so instances represented as points in the Euclidean space. So today we will discuss about the k nearest neighbor approach. And the locally weighted regression and case-based reasoning are other examples. So we will discuss today the k nearest neighbor approach. So whenever we have a point to classify, suppose you are given a training data and you have some points to classify from the training data. So distance is calculated. Let's say your example has many attributes. So let's say n attributes are there. So A1, A2, A3. So for each attribute, so let's say your example X has these n attributes. So now for each of attributes, you compare with the actual outcome. So actual value. So you compare the distance. So if it is near to some particular example, so you compare with all the examples, and so for all the example you compare, and if it is near to some example, you calculate the distance from those. So it means that whenever you have to classify, you compare your test value with all the examples given to you. So each training example to the list of training examples, you can start comparing with them. So you now pick up the top k instances which are nearest or closer to your example. So what you have done, you compared with each of the example. So you want to test this one, you compared with each of those and pick up the top k examples which are nearer to your test case. Now all of these k example may belong to different class. So then you return the class that is represented by the majority of these k instances. Suppose the value of k you have taken to be 5. Usually it is taken odd value because we have to take the majority. Now you come and let's say total number of instances that you have got is m is the 1000 instances you have. So now whenever you have to compare, you take the distance of your query example with all of these m. After getting the distance, so you pick up the first k. So k is again defined by you. You pick up the first k instances from the training examples, and your outcome is the majority of the class that is represented by these k instances. So that is your outcome. So that is the k nearest neighbor algorithm. Now the distance here, I have talked about the Euclidean distance in the last slide. So that was the Euclidean distance. But there are other ways to calculate the distance as well, and we will see that what are the other ways, what are the other different ways could be there. So in the KNN implementation, user sets a value for K, which is supposed to be out. So whenever you start, so if you're not sure, you can start with some lower value and then you can keep on changing till your algorithm comes out with the good value. So, so let's say it always has to be odd value. So you can keep on increasing this value. So depending upon accuracy, you can pick up later on the good value of K. So training examples are put in a list. Testing the algorithm consisting of comparing one test sample with all the training examples. So you put up a loop and start comparing it with by getting a distance. So Euclidean distance is the by default the most popular way to calculate the distance. Then list is sorted. We pick up the first K value which are nearer to the test sample. And for example, here, so XQ comes to be, let's say 5. So these 5 instances comes out to be nearer to the XQ as compared to others. Now, majority of these belong to negative class. 3 of those belong to negative and 2 belong to positive. So outcome of XQ is classified as negative because it is nearer to those classes. So in this way, the K nearest neighbor actually works. So it is a lazy learner. We have not built any model before that. So the space where these example lies, so this can be represented using the Voronoi diagram. So like this diagram represents a Voronoi diagram. So all the instances correspond to n dimensional. N is the number of attributes. So you have n dimensional space where all the example lies. So you can consider it as a Cartesian coordinates of n dimension, and your example lies somewhere there in that space. So now whenever you have to compare a particular example, you just calculate the distance between them, Euclidean distance in that Cartesian space, and the target function. So now in these examples, so these minus plus, these are discrete values. Like in the last example, there are discrete values. So if I go back to last slide, so like these were the discrete value. I can say that, okay, 3 of them belong to negative. So majority is negative. So outcome is negative. Now, what if your class is continuous, not discrete? What if these are continuous values? So then how to find out final outcome? In that case, if class is continuous, like in a regression, if it is a continuous variable, then we can take average of these, average of K variables. So target function, it means it can be discrete or real valued. So KNN works for both. In case of discrete, we pick up the majority. In case of real valued, we may take the average of these values. And for discrete value, as we sort most common values that we actually pick. So usually these examples are made in this way. And this particular diagram is called the Voronoi diagram. So now obviously this decision service is just to represent or depict the values. Otherwise, it is very typical to show all the examples in a 2-dimensional space. So if you look at, go through the sum of discussion. So the K nearest neighbor for real value production for given unknown tuples, so returns a mean value of all the K nearest. The distance weighted nearest neighbor algorithm. So this is another example where we also give distance. So we weigh the contribution of each of the K neighbors according to their distance. So someone which is more closer is given more weight. So someone who is more closer given more weight. So the weight is calculated using this value. So less distance, having less distance with our test case, so more is the weight. So we calculate more weight. So we want to give more weight to the examples which are closer, so rather than to the examples which are very far away. So it might be possible that, so in a particular case, let's say XQ, and we have set the K to be 3. So we have taken a K to be 3. And in a particular case, let's say one example comes here, another example comes here, but the third example, which is very far away, and all other examples are very far away. So in this case, now this third example, which is very far away, can change the mean value. That's why we use the weight vectors. In this way, we give more weight to the someone which is closer and less weight to the someone which is far away. So in this way, we can also tackle the noise in our k nearest neighbor, or you can say this is one of the improvement in the k nearest neighbor. So it is robust to noisy data. You can take average, or many people also pick up the median value. Since again, if one of the neighbor is a noisy value, suppose you are targeting and one of the neighbor comes to be a noise, then that may affect the average. So rather than taking average, you can also pick up the median value. So the main drawback is the dimensionality, because if there are so many attributes, so calculating distance between neighbors, so that is a major drawback. It can take a lot of time. So if I say that there are 1,000 examples, every time for every test case, you end up comparing the distance between all the examples. And further, if attributes are also large, so then calculating Euclidean distance for these many attributes again becomes very cumbersome. And further, in many cases, many of these attributes could be irrelevant, so which are not affecting the final outcomes. So we may end up comparing or finding distance of irrelevant attributes. So to overcome it, so we stretch the axis or eliminate the least relevant attribute. So you can use the information gain to find the relevance of these attribute corresponding to class. So using information gain, you can pick up the top attributes only. So by you from these 100, let's say you can say pick up top 10 attributes, and then you can implement the k nearest neighbor accordingly. So, so today we have gone through two algorithms. One is expectation maximization and another is a k nearest neighbor. So both algorithms are executed, or you can see that these are very easy to implement. So in the expectation maximization, you have to compare with the the most probable value which you have started, and again k nearest neighbor, you are calculating the distance. But you might be wondering that it is not easy to compare the distance. So if attribute are numeric, then it is easy, but if they are not numeric, then how to compare the distance? Suppose some string values are there, so how to compare the two examples? So if there are string attributes are there, some categorical attributes are there, floating point. So in the next session, we will discuss about this thing only, that if you have multiple attribute, which usually are in a particular database, in database you have some numeric attributes, some character attributes, some strings, some categorical attributes, some exponential attributes. So how to calculate distance? Because these two algorithms actually based on the way we compare with these classes. So we will continue in the next session now. So today we will stop here. So it is open to